Well, as they're lowering me into the pool in the sling, I realize I am not alone. In the corner is a young man, early 20s. I can only see the top half of his head because he's blowing bubbles through his submerged mouth. And I notice he has this very large dent in his forehead. It's unnerving. Mrs. Todd, the therapeutic pool instructor, says to me, "Oh, that's just Brian. He was riding a motorcycle without a helmet, hit his head on the curb, and now his brain injury makes it hard for him to speak and move his limbs, so he just likes to hang out in the pool and blow bubbles." I'm a little freaked out about this whole disability thing, okay? His, mine. It's only been 6 months since I was injured in a car accident that left me paralyzed from the chest down. I'm 18 years old. I was a college athlete. I was all about my body. I would leap into rooms. I would pull random cartwheels on the sidewalk, and I would climb the outside of my brother's dorm so that he would not know I was coming. But now I'm in this wheelchair, and I'm sad, but I'm trying really hard to move forward with my life. Well, a few days later, the phone rings. It's Mrs. Todd. And I would really like to give Brian your phone number. He's having a hard time. He could use a friend. I do not want her to give Brian my phone number. He's having a hard time dealing with his disability. He feels isolated and alone. Well, I can identify with that. People won't even talk to him. They just stare at him. Well, that's been my experience too. You have such a great attitude. If you would just be his friend, you could make a really big difference in his life. I want to be a good person. I realize that my discomfort with Brian's disability is no different than everybody else's discomfort with my disability, and I want to be kinder than that. So I say, yes, you can give Brian my phone number. Brian calls. "Want to go to a movie on Friday?" "Ooh, Friday date night. Ooh, she said I only to be his friend." "Okay." Friday comes. I open the door. Hunka, burning love. There is the most gorgeous young man I have ever seen at the door. 6 feet tall, sandy hair, and built. He says, "Hi, I'm Brian's brother." I'm like, "Yeah, baby, this night is looking better already." So I go out to the car and I get in the front seat next to Brian, and his brother says, "We're going to the drive-in, so we don't need to bring your chair." I'm not too wild about leaving my chair behind. I mean, what if I need to go to the bathroom? What if something goes wrong, right? But society has sort of always let me know that I'm burdensome, so I don't say anything. Well, sure enough, on the way to the movies, we get a flat tire. So Brian and I sit in the front seat while his brother jacks up the back, which I know is dangerous, but what am I gonna do? So by the time we get to the drive-in, we have missed the first movie of the double feature, and thank God, because the movie they have taken me to see is Other Side of the Mountain, which, for those of you who don't know, is the true tragic tale of an Olympic skier who had a horrible ski accident and wound up paralyzed, but gained the love of a wonderful man. Number one, I do not want to spend my spare time watching someone going through what I'm going through. I do not want the specter of romance introduced into this outing with Brian. Fortunately, the second movie was called Walking Tall Part 2. Ironic, since I'm living Rolling Short Part 1. Well, as soon as we park the car, Brian's brother jumps out because, unbeknownst to me, his girlfriend has been following us this whole time in her car. So now I'm alone with Brian, squeezed between him and the side door. And it is not long before he makes his move. Slowly, excruciatingly slowly, he brings his arm up, over, and across my shoulders. It is like being in the dentist chair, and the dentist is slowly bringing that drill into your mouth. You do not want to be there, but there's nothing you can do. And then I think about how perfectly Brian and his brother have staged this outing so that I am squeezed right up against him alone, which kind of pisses me off. But, trying to be kind, I think perhaps before his injury, Brian was a hunk like his brother, and inside he's still got the same self-image, hopes, and dreams that are just cloaked by his damaged exterior, like me. Well, arms settled in place, Brian starts asking me questions.
What's wrong with you?
Well, let's see, I procrastinate, I peel my nails. I never studied as much as I should have. I know that's not what he's asking me because I get that question all the time. I said car accident.
Was it your fault?
Now, I get that question a lot too, and it stumps me. So if it's my fault, I deserve this life-changing injury. If it's not my fault, then I get more sympathy. I mean, I don't get that. No, it's not my fault.
How tall are you?
Really? Really? What difference does it make how tall I am? 6 feet, Brian, and that is enough with the questions. Well, then my legs start jumping up and down. And Brian says, cut it out. Brian, these are spasms. I can't control them. My legs keep spasming.
I said cut it out!
Well, you know, there's this paralysis thing, Brian, and I can't control that.
Well, I told that doctor I wasn't gonna take that Dilantium no more.
What's that?
Anti-seizure medication.
When did you stop taking it?
2 weeks ago.
Great! He's gonna have a seizure any minute now, and I'm at the drive-in without a wheelchair. Okay. Well then, Brian bends over, puts his hand between my legs below the knees, and starts moving it around. What the hell is he doing? I mean, it's so dark I can't see him. With the paralysis, I can't feel. I'm pretty sure it's inappropriate. I just don't know how inappropriate. And then he says, got it. And he whips out a plastic urinal. And he proceeds to unzip his pants, pull out his penis, stick it in the urinal, relieves himself, caps the urinal, puts the penis back in the pants, zips it up, and places that full urinal down by my legs. My spasming legs. I can't believe it. It's like, oh my God, talk about dating deal breakers. I mean, is this my dating future? Men who pee right next to me on the first date? I'm done. I can't do this. I don't care if it makes me unkind and uncompassionate. I'm done. And Brian says,
Can I ask you another question?
I'm like, all right, just one more question.
Can I kiss you?
No.
Why not?
That's 2. I never saw Brian after that night. And over time, I obviously got used to my disability and it even flourished. And I totally got over any discomfort I had with disabilities. In fact, if I were to go out on that date tonight with Brian and he told me he had to pee, I'd be the first one to hand him that urinal. Thank you.